Let's talk about really cheap lighting solutions that we can all afford. Let's do this. As content creators, it's extremely important we use proper lighting. The reason being is that the quality is found within lighting. This holds true for YouTube videos, feature films, and high-budget commercial films. I cannot express how important lighting is to telling a story, to showing how much you're worth, to just overall quality. Now we're going to dive deeply on how to save a bunch of money on cheap lighting solutions, especially for those who are starting out or have low budgets. Cheapest things you can probably get your hands on right now to light your videos. You have these fluorescent light bulbs. They're standard, you know how they work. They're household light bulbs. You can actually upgrade these fluorescent bulbs for these larger fluorescent bulbs on Amazon, and they're still extremely cheap. I actually shot most of my videos on these lights within a softbox. We'll get into softboxes a little later. And the way you can put these lights is you can get these really cheap sockets that allow you to even put a cheap umbrella inside of it, and it just lights up really nice. You can get these lights at 55 Kelvin, which is around daylight, which is that nice, white, soft light. I love film riot. They're actually one of the reasons why I started doing YouTube videos, but they always talk about these can lights you can get at Home Depot while using these type of lights. I actually got them because of these videos, and I got these such a long time ago. These are floodlights, but they're great, but they're not great. When you're doing YouTube videos, you really don't want to light your face up with these guys because they're super harsh. They're going to make harsh shadows. Your videos are not going to look that great, especially if you're vlogging with these type of lights. It's going to look yucky, caquita. You want something higher quality value. So I recommend going with those fluorescents, but for more creative elements, I recommend going with these guys. And you can pick these up for like 10 bucks, 5 bucks, Home Depot, Amazon. They're really cheap. And by the way, guys, everything I'm going to be listing here is going to have links down below from Amazon. Now, if you have a little more of a budget, you can get up LED lights. Now, these guys are from Aperture, and they are fantastic. They're built tough. They have such a great light to it. They're nice and beautiful. I actually use these lights to light up my background there. And I do a lot of interviews with these guys too. They're a great accent light. Everything that Aperture makes is fantastic. These are 50 bucks. It might even be cheaper because they have new ones coming out. But check out how bright that thing is. It is just, what? Out of this world. I love these guys. What's great about these lights is that they run on these Sony NPL battery lights, but they also run off battery powered. So you don't have to really worry about powering these lights. You can use any household batteries. The most expensive light I'm going to be talking about in this video is this $100 light from Aperture. This is a LED panel that is phenomenal. It is worth every penny. It might be even worth their value. They just had a new one that came out. They only sadly run on NPL Sony batteries, but you can also put a DC power, which means you just plug it into the wall. What's great about Aperture is that they have this remote control that is seriously mind-blowing. You can control the lights, the intensity, what turns off and on to get these cool light effects. Their lights are honestly worth more than what I'm paying for. As you can tell, these lights are extremely bright, and I'm shooting this really dark right now. Of course, shooting any type of light directly into my face is going to be extremely harsh, but there are cheap methods of controlling and softening that light. So you can get really cheap softboxes, and softboxes for LED lights can be really expensive, like over $100 just for the softbox. But one way to get really cheap softboxes, especially for LED lights and fluorescent lights, since they don't produce a lot of heat, is get lights for speed lights. What are speed lights? They're basically lights you use for photography that just flashes really fast. I'm actually using them to shoot my videos with. Newer has this great, ginormous softbox for like 38 bucks that is for speed lights, but you can put an LED light in there, any type of LED light at all, any type of light you want at all inside of it, and it'll make it super, super soft. And the larger your light, the more spread and the softer it's gonna get. Not everyone's gonna have 38 bucks to spend on lighting equipment, I understand. This kind of looks like an umbrella, but actually it's a reflector that reflects light. And the way you put a light bulb in there is by getting one of these things that have a hole. And by the way, all the Aperture lights have a little mechanism that you can put the lights on that have these sockets in it. So you can put any type of diffusion you want on there. You put it in like that, you screw it in, and you have your light that just bounces back. Now these guys are 10 bucks. You know, it's still a little pricey. You can go with the super cheap lighting alternative and get these two diffusers for only 5 bucks. And I'll send links down below, but I got these two guys for 5 bucks. You put them on the same way with any other type of contraption through that little hole, and you put light through this. Now, Be very mindful. These guys are not made for light to be bounced back into the subject. What it really is for is to be put in front of the light in order to diffuse in it and make it softer. So it's kind of like a softbox. Prompt to $15 softbox you can make that actually works really well is to get this guy that's $10. Put light facing this way so light spreads around evenly, making this large surface, and then putting this in front of it to soften that light, and it'll go through it and it becomes a beautiful light. You're probably thinking that's really crazy, but guess what? That's how softboxes work, and that's super cheap. That's how this softbox works. That's how that softbox works. So now let's get down to actual softboxes. These guys are a little more expensive. They usually come in packs, and what they are these foldable softboxes made for fluorescent lights. As you can see here, you put a fluorescent light bulb there, you put the fabric over it, and you have a go-to softbox. I'm actually using this light right now to light up my face. Here, check it out. This is just this light by itself. It's such a beautiful soft light with a fluorescent in there. Everything I say, I preach. Trust me, I really do. I'm not one of those guys that research it and doesn't use it. I try to do everything I can to save money. Another cheap solution you could do to soften light is to use a whiteboard. Any type of whiteboard would do. You can get at CVS, Walgreens, anywhere you can find a project whiteboard. Even large sheets of paper, towels, anything that's white will bounce light. And we'll get more into the principles of that later. I have my LED panel right here, and I'm just gonna bounce light into it, and look how that bounces light. Look at that, just bing. It's fantastic. And this is kind of a bad example about bouncing light, but we'll get more into detail about that later. I just want you to think about these things, start practicing, use the cheapest methods you have right now in order to control your light, especially if you're on a budget. Learn from these cheap elements so you're able to grow. Trust me, I did the same way, and it's super fun, and improving is just part of the game. Let me know what other tips and tricks you want me to talk about in the next videos. Make sure to like and subscribe because I come out with videos every Monday and Wednesday. Kiss, kiss.